start the screen sharing. Okay, so the last time what we did was we went to that IP and we did the whole thing with modifying our host file so the website appears properly now, and we also were able to log into the site with administrator access, and luckily for us it had not been well configured, so just the default combination of admin was working there. Now I'm going to be using this to get shell access onto this system, to get terminal access on this system now. So the way to do that is, see, with admin access, basically what you have is complete access. You can do anything you want. You can make any changes you want to the website itself. What I am going to do is I'm going to go to appearance and editor, and okay, now this is just a heads up that you are making direct changes to your WordPress theme. That's what it's saying. So I'm just saying, okay, I understand, I know what I'm doing, and I continue. So basically, at this point, this is the editor, and I can edit any pages or any templates. So that's the edit themes or the editor option, and any template which is a part of this website, I can change that. So there are different templates. So first is a style sheet. I'm not going to change that. Then you have the 404 template. So this is a template where if you enter an incorrect address, you get the error 404 not found. So in that case, WordPress is going to use this template, and there are templates for different things. So there's a template for the home page. There is one for the main index. There is one for displaying the search results. Similarly, there is a template for the single post. Okay, and actually this will become clearer if you go to the website. So let's say I go to this blog. Now when I click on this, okay, when I click on this post and I see this, the post and the comment and everything that is a part of this page, all that is defined by this template. So what appears when I click on a single post is defined by a template. Which template? The single post template. Now what I can do is, now in place of the code that is already here, since I can edit this, I can make any changes I want. My goal is to get shell access. Okay, that's my goal. Now I can insert a custom code. Okay, I can entirely change the code here, and I can write the code to get a reverse shell on the system. So reverse shell is where you get the target system to connect to your system. So what I can do is I'll just do a Google search for a PHP reverse shell. Why PHP? Because the existing code is also in PHP. So I know that PHP is what works on this server. So PHP reverse shell. And the first one that you see here is Pentest Monkey. So these people have written a code for PHP reverse shell, and it works pretty well. It suits our purpose. So this is the PHP code. I'm just going to copy this entire thing. Okay, I'll copy this completely, and I'm going to come back here, select this, and I'll paste that copied over code instead of the original one. So this is my code for the reverse shell. Okay, I think this got left out. This less than sign. So you need to be careful about these things as well. Otherwise, it will not work properly. Okay, now it should work. But however, there is one thing I need to change here. See there, they have also commented out change this, or two of these parts. One is IP, okay, and the other is port. Now, since this is a code for the reverse shell, it needs to know an IP, and what IP should I specify here?
System IP.
Our system IP. So the IP for my system,
Yes.
so that for the reverse shell, it will know where to connect to. So I'll use my IP here, which is 10.0.2.15. So this is the IP for my system. And in your case, of course, it will be different. So you use your IP
Yes.
and port. Now, do I need to change the port, or can I use this?
Yes, sir. You can use it.
I can use this, right? So
Yes.
port is not really like, there is no restriction for the port. I can use this, or I can change it if I want. So I'll just keep it as it is, 1234. Okay. And I've already changed the IP. IP is, it's very important that you add the correct IP, otherwise this is not going to work for you. So after I've made all these changes, I'll click on update file so that my changes get saved, file edited successfully. Okay, good. Now the first thing that I'll do is I'll come back to my terminal and I will use netcat to open a listener on my system, so that when this reverse shell code runs and it tries to connect, I can catch that. Okay, I can get that connection. I can handle that connection on my system. So I need to use netcat to open a port for listening. So for listening, the option is -L. You can use V if you want to make it more verbose, if you want to get a more detailed output. And to specify the port, I need to use P1234, which is the port that we mentioned in that code. So now on my system, netcat is listening on port 1234 and it is waiting for a connection. Now this code I have edited. What do I need to do to get it to run? I need to make sure that this single post, this template, this runs. So I need to go to this blog and I need to open a single post. Okay, in this case, we have already opened it. I'm just going to refresh the page. Now, as you can see, it gets stuck. Okay, it's not able to load. Why? Because instead of the actual code that was there for this page, our edited reverse shell code is now running. And that is not going to give a web page as a result. It's going to give us a shell access, which has been the case. Okay, so when I refresh this page, my reverse shell code was executed and I got a connection. Okay, so connect to my IP from VTC-SEC, and this is the port from which we get the connection. So this is the port on the target system which is being used in this connection. Now, however, we have access. Okay, we have shell access, but we don't have a complete shell. Okay, we have a limited shell here. So the first thing I will do is I will upgrade my shell in this case. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean by that. I'll use Python. I'll run a command in Python, import pty. Pty is a Python module for terminal functions, and I'll use it to spawn a bash shell. Bin bash is the shell that we want. Now when I run this, you can see that the shell I have has now changed. It's now displaying a proper name of the account that I'm logged in as @vtcsec, which is the host name. So if I now I have shell access on the system. If I run the id command, it tells me that the user I'm currently logged in as is www data. So this is not even a user account. This is basically just a system account for a web server. Www data. It's not a user. So in this case, now what do I need to do? What should be my priority in this case? Like
To get a user ID and password.
to get user access in some
Yes,
way,
sir. Yes.
right? So that should be my priority here because with this kind of account, with a system account or the service account, I don't really have a lot of freedom on the system. Okay,
Yes.
so let's see if we can find out how many different users are there on the system. So I can try to output the password file which carries details of users present on the system. Okay, now of course root is going to be there. Root user is there on the system, and it's followed by a lot of system accounts.
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any user we can see? Okay, this is I think this is a user Marlin Spike. Yeah, it has a ID of 1000, which is not for system accounts. It's for user accounts. Okay, so this is a user account, Marlin Spike. Can I go to the home directory? Yes, I can. ls Marlin Spike. Can we find something here in this user's home directory? Let's see. So there is a lot of stuff here, but nothing is useful for us in this case. You can go through it if you want, but it's not going to be useful.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now in Linux, where are the passwords stored? User passwords.
Sir, in root directory.
Sham
No,
file, shadow file.
shadow file. Yes,
Shadow. Yes,
shadow
sir.
file is where the passwords are stored. But uh, can I currently access the shadow file on the system?
No, sir.
No. Shadow file is also present in the etc directory, right? And
Yes, sir.
by default, only root has access to the shadow file. Only the root user has access. Only the root account has access. So if I try to do this cat etc shadow, I should not be able to see that file. However, in this case, it has not been properly configured. Okay, the permissions for the file are not properly configured. So I'm able to cat etc shadow. And since all of these are of course service accounts, we won't see any passwords for them.
Yes, sir.
But this is a user Marlin Spike. So this is an entry for this user. Now, is this a password? What
Sir,
is this
it's
thing?
in encrypted form.
Okay, it's not an encrypted form. See, it's a hash. Okay, it's a
It's a
password hash.
hash code. Yes, sir.
Okay, encryption would be a different. I mean, of course, it would look the same, but it's a different concept.
Yes,
This
sir.
is a hashed password. Now, what I can do is I can copy this over to my system and I can try to crack it. So I'm going to copy this, starting from Marlin Spike over to till where this hash is. I'll copy this thing. I'll come back to my own system. I'll op- open a file called pass in nano. Since it already exists, it had a value, but we'll just delete that. We'll enter our new value here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to exit save modified buffer. Yes, I want to save these changes, and I'm going to now work on cracking this. So what are the tools that are used to crack passwords or password hashes?
So MD5.
No, MD5 is a hash format. I'm asking about the tools
Also,
in.
sir, cracking.
Okay, see, there are two tools which are mainly used for this purpose. One of them is known as John the Ripper. So the command to run that is simply John, and you'll get
Yes,
a
sir.
menu for it. Okay, so John the Ripper, that's one. Another tool which is really popular is Hashcat. Okay, so these are the tools that are mainly used for this.
Yes, sir.
And in case you need to identify a hash, like what kind of hash it is, then you can use this tool known as hash identifier. So if you input a hash here, okay, if I input this, okay, this will not work because this Marlin spike is not part of a hash. But if I just take this part, okay, if I just take this part, it should be able to tell me what kind of hash this is. Yeah, this is not working. This should work. It had this at the end. So it's saying that it's a SHA-256 hash. Okay, but this is not exact. Like this is not the exact format. But okay, that's not something to worry about. I'm going to use John the Ripper here, and okay, the first thing I'll do is I'll delete the cache for it because I've cracked this value previously, so it stores that in its cache, and I want to remove it so that it does not just take the value from there. I want to remove this cache. Okay, now I'm going to use John the Ripper, and I'm going to give this file as input, this pass file where I have pasted Marlin spike and the hash. And when I run this, okay, so it has already finished. It tells me the session is completed, and use the show option to display all of the cracked passwords reliably. Okay, so I'll do just that. Okay, so Marlin Spike, this is the combination, the user password combination. The username and the password are the same in this case. That's why it was able to crack it so quickly. Otherwise, since I have not specified anything else here, it would have started a brute force attack, which would have taken a long time. I could have specified a word list here, but again, I wanted to try this before I specify a word list and go to a dictionary attack, but we did not require that eventually. So we have our password now for the Marlin Spike account, which is the same as the username itself. I can simply go here, not here, yeah, and I can use SU switch user Marlin Spike password, since password is same Marlin Spike. Now if you'll notice, we are logged in as Marlin Spike. Okay, so we have user access, but user access still doesn't mean that we have all permissions. Okay, we can do a lot of things, but we can't do everything on the system yet. So my next priority or my next step is to try and get root access. Now this process is known as privilege escalation. Yeah, where I'm trying to escalate my privileges. I'm trying to get root. I'm trying to get to root from a user level. So there we have this sudo command, right? But not every user can use sudo.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and even the users who can use it, they have some limitations or some restrictions depending on how it has been configured. So if I want to check what permissions I have for the sudo command, or in what situations or with what commands I can use sudo, if I want to check that, I can use sudo along with the -l option, sudo -l. And of course, it's going to ask me for my password. So Marlin Spike. And look at the output that we get. Okay, not all this last two lines. User Marlin Spike may run the following commands on VTC all, all. This means that as this Marlin Spike user, I can use sudo free. I can run all commands with sudo. So don't have any restrictions for running sudo. That
Okay, sir.
that means this is a good thing for us, right? So now can I use sudo to, okay, first thing is if I am able to use sudo, that means I can, from this Marlin Spike user itself, I can do everything that a root account can.
Yes, sir.
That is one thing. But can I get terminal access, or can I get shell access as the root account itself using sudo? Is there a way for me to do that? Think about it. Is Can I use this sudo command in any way to get shell access and be able to use the system as root?
Don't know, sir.
Uh, uh, so far, okay, from what we've done so far, have we used anything? Have we run any kind of command involving which involved opening a shell?
Shell opening bash command, sir.
Pardon?
Bash in Python we have used bash command.
Yes, we used Python. We used a command
Yes, sir.
line
Yes, sir.
to spawn a bash shell, right?
Yes, sir.
What if I run that command, that same command, the exact same command, but with sudo?
I think it will work, sir.
Okay, let's try it.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is, with sudo and the exact same command, because what I want is to get shell access as the root account.
Yes.
Okay, so sudo this is the command, and as you can see it worked. Now we have root access here, root at the rate vtcsec. You check your id. So we are now logged in as root. If you run who am I again, we'll get root. So we now have root access over this system.
Yes, sir.
We have found a way to escalate our privileges to that of the root account. Once you get root account, again, you can do whatever you want on that system. Root Having root permissions gives you free reign, whatever you want to do. then do there.
Yes, sir.
So, right now on any system, when you're trying to hack into it, or especially when you're trying to practice, your main goal is, your ultimate goal is to be able to have root access onto that system. Once you're able to do that, then of course you can do whatever you want there.
So now we can use the shadow file to get the passwords.
We use the shadow file in this case as well because it was not properly configured.
Oh, okay, sir.
This is the shadow file. These are the contents of the shadow file. And
Yes, sir.
on this cat etc shadow, and we were able to get the contents of the file.
Yes, sir.
Right now, of course, that is not going to be the case in other systems because this was a case of improper configuration, that the permissions for that file were not properly configured.
Yes.
But in other systems, this will not be the case. Even if I go to my own system, okay, if I switch over to my system's terminal and if I try to do this, I'm not going to be able to open it. It's going to tell me permission denied.
Yes, sir.
So keep that in mind. You can try to access it. If there is improper configuration, you will be able to access it without a root, from a non-root account. But in most cases, you're not going to be able to access it.
Yes.
So okay, now we have root access, meaning we can do anything. So that is going to be our end goal always, to get root access.
Yes, sir.
Usually in a CTF, you kind of have a flag or a text file, but in this case, in case of basic PT, they did not include anything of the sort. But usually you'll have at least two flags, a user flag and a root flag.
Yes, sir.
User flag will be found somewhere within a user's directory, and root flag will be in the root directory. But in this case, there's nothing there. Like if I, even if I go to the root directory, I don't think I'm going to find anything. There are a couple of things here, but nothing. Oh, so, my bad. I went to that on my system, not on. Uh, okay, in this case, even if I go to the root directory, I don't think there's anything useful here. Okay, it's empty.
Yes, sir.
Completely, I mean, of course, not completely empty. It has a few system files, but other than that, nothing.
Yes, sir.
For this basic PT machine, we have finished solving it, and we have root access here.
Okay, sir.
Let me do a small recap of what we did for this machine. So the first thing we did, we found out the IP address. We ran an Nmap scan. We found that there were three ports open. First one was FTP, and we looked for an exploit in Metasploit for the particular service version Pro FTPD 1.3.3. We found something there. We used that exploit, and we were also able to get root access in that case. So that is one way for us to exploit this system. If we go to the other services, we had SSH and HTTP. SSH, now again, we did not have any credentials. We did not have any account details there for SSH, so we could not do anything there. But HTTP, meaning there was a web server running, or at least a web service running, so we tried to use that. our Nmap vulnerability scan indicated that there was a directory, you know, named secret on the web server. So we
Yes,
browsed
sir.
that directory and we found this WordPress blog, but the problem there was it would not open up correctly. And when we tried to see why that was the case, the reason there was that it was every link was pointing to VTC sec, but our system did not have any idea as to what VTC sec is. So we needed to go to our host file and make an entry for VTC sec and map it to the IP of the target system.
Yes, sir.
Once we did that, the website opened up properly. We saw that it was built on WordPress. We tried to log in, and luckily for us, there was a very weak password configuration there.
Password. Yes, sir.
Username admin, password admin. Okay, so that's why also, so um, you'll hear in a lot of places, everywhere you'll hear that it's important to keep a strong password and it's important to not reuse passwords anywhere. This is why that is said that you need to keep a strong password, otherwise it becomes easy to guess and easy to crack.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
and also if you do something like using admin, like in this case, username admin, password admin, and this person, like whoever might have configured the machine, if you're considering an actual device, we also saw that after we cracked the password, it was the username itself, Marlin Spike, admin. So you see a pattern there.
Yes, sir.
Reuse things, okay, it becomes easier for attackers to observe patterns as well. Okay, and then they can use that information to further hack into your systems or attack some other accounts or other services. So password security is of course very important and it should not be taken lightly.
Yes, sir.
Coming back to our process, so we found a website, we logged in, we went to the editor and we inserted a code for a PHP reverse shell in one of the templates for the website. We came to our system, opened the Netcat listener to handle that connection. Then we made sure that this code that we edited for the single post, it was executed as well. So we made sure of that. Then we found, actually we got shell access. We looked around on the system, accessed the shadow file, copied the password from there, took it over to our own system, cracked it using John the Ripper. Then we used that password to log into that account, and we've tried to figure out what kind of permissions we have for the sudo command on this system. We
Yes,
saw
sir.
that we don't have any restrictions. We could use anything we want. So if I can run any command with sudo, I can simply spawn a shell with sudo, and that will give me root shell, which is exactly what I did here. And that is the entire process that we used for this basic PT machine.
Okay, sir.
So does anyone have any questions, any doubts, anything that might not have been clear throughout this for this particular machine?
Sir, what if the sudo command is not work?
Pardon? What if sudo command is
Not work.
not working? Okay.
Yes.
See, of course. So are you talking about just this sudo hyphen l, or are you talking about sudo in general? Like if you're not
Yes.
able to access sudo?
Yes, sir. If we are not able to access sudo.
See, the thing is, of course, that's a very real situation where you're not able to access sudo. And actually, there can be a number of different situations. Okay. First thing is, to do anything using sudo, you must know the password for the account.
Yes, sir.
Let's say you are accessing an account, but you don't know the password for it. Maybe you used something to get a reverse shell and you don't know the password. In that case, using sudo is like out of the question. You cannot use it. Or in some cases, even though you are able to use sudo, you have the password. When you check the permissions, it will tell you that this user is not able to run anything using sudo. That can also be a case. In those situations, we'll look for different ways to escalate our privileges. If you're not able to use sudo, that's not the only thing that is possible. We are going to look at other methods to perform privilege escalation as well. Don't worry about that. Okay.
Okay, sir.
According to the configuration, depending on how the system has been configured, how it is being run, what users have been added, how their accounts have been configured, depending on all these factors, the methods that you will be able to use on a system for privilege escalation, that will vary. Okay, so we'll see a few different things. Like in the next system that I'm going to show you in the next machine, I'll
Yes, sir.
not be able to use the exact same thing. I'll have to take a different way there, take a
Yes,
different
sir.
path.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there are multiple ways of doing this. Okay, we're going to look at that as well. Don't worry,
Okay, sir.
because again, see that is every system is configured differently, right?
Yes,
Everyone is going to have different settings for their users. Sorry, for their systems, and of course for the users as well. That's also so. Okay, the techniques. There are different techniques. There are different ways to do this, and we'll be looking at them as well. Don't worry about it.
yes, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Now, the next one that I'll do, the next machine that we're going to solve is known as Mr. Robot. Okay. And I'm going to give you the link for that as well. Just like we did with basic PT, this is also a machine that we'll have to download and run on our own system. And just a moment, I'll send the link here. Okay, now in chat, pasted the link.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just go to that link, download the file from there. It's a 700 MB file. And okay, if you open this link, go to this link. Okay, so the name of the machine is Mr. Robot, and it's based on a show of the same name. But you know, you don't have to know anything about that show, or at
Yes,
least
sir.
not nothing much, if you want to crack it. Of course, it will be a slight help if you do know about it, but in case you don't, that's not a problem.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and so this VM has three keys. Like I mentioned, there are flags hidden
Next.
in CTF. So three keys or three flags, whatever you want to call it. Your goal is to find all three. Each is progressively difficult to find, and we are going to go through this one next. So just like with basic PT, you also need to install this one and just run this file, and it'll open up in your virtual application, whatever you're using, VMware or VirtualBox, whatever. Okay, so we are going to start working on this from the next session onwards.